Hey y'all! That looks like I have a mullet. Welcome back to a Sitting with Ashley. I'm Ashley. Today is my son's birthday eve. Tomorrow's his birthday. And I just woke him, well, he just woke up. And so I was telling him about labor. And I know I have a lot of different new people on here. I shared the story of his labor a long time ago. You're making breakfast with me. But I make a lot of videos and they're unorganized, so I just wanted to share a little bit about my free birth with my son. He was born in the bathtub, but I was in labor for a good 30 hours. We did a free birth. A free birth was, well, free birth is, I don't know if it's a trademark term or not, because of Emily and what's her butt. Hang on. But I just wanted to share. Do some strawberries too. A little bit. So, I'll just keep it simple. So I had prepared for a free birth or an unassisted birth, natural birth, whatever you want to call it. So basically what that means is that we didn't medicalize the birth. My husband wanted to, and I wouldn't allow that because it's my body, my choice, right? And I had a pretty wild pregnancy as well, which just means, again, it wasn't a really medicalized situation. But I turned my whole, house into a birthing cave, and I spent months preparing. I did a course done by the Free Birth Society. They're like Voldemort, they shall not be named. I can give you a little context as to why they're racist. They're white women, and it was a really cult situation. So yeah. Anyway, I learned a lot from their course, but the membership that I was a part of, and other women, there were a couple waves of us who woke up to how oppressive it was and how awkward it was. And anyway, that's not the story. But give credit where credit's due, no matter the circumstance, right? I learned a lot from that course. It was like a $400 course, right? They put together, it was very well done. There were like 20 or so chapters all about how to navigate a natural unassisted birth, not medicalizing it. I had my own medical trauma, which is why I chose to do that, because I knew with other things that had happened in the medical field that I would not have any agency. And if you just pay attention to the way that patriarch and women, wow, this is going a totally different direction than I thought it would. If you pay attention to how the medical field treats women, even if you just watch movies about pregnancy and birth, women are helpless. That's bullshit, right? Where's Lucy? Is she still here? Lucy, all of my cats had pre-births too, but it was after I did. Birth happens. We're part of nature. It was a big decolonizing aspect of my life, and it was also one of my larger feats, and one of the things I'm the most proud about, and it really impacted how I approach motherhood, quite frankly. So yeah, free birth all the way, bro. But anyway, so I turned my house into a birthing cave. We had one of those blow-up hot tubs, those lazy spas, in our family room, but we didn't have the water in it, and it wasn't hooked up to the thing. It was just the tub. And then the day that, so I went into labor around this time, which is why I felt compelled. I mean, it was like, I don't know, it was in the morning, and then I was in labor for, it was around 30 hours, I think, because he came out next morning, at 9. So maybe I started labor the night before. I don't know how 30 hours works, but contractions were really steady. Oh, that's what it was. Anyway, forget the hours. So I was in labor the day before I started going into labor. I started having contractions. And they were pretty mild, like really mild. Baby daddy was at work. He's on his way here too, which is why it's like everybody flocks during the birth. I feel compelled to share. I guess it's muscle memory labor pains, but he was pretty supportive. He started filling up the hot tub. So I was in labor all by myself, and then I stayed up that night, and it started intensifying, but I let him sleep. I woke him up, I think, around like 4 or 5 in the morning, the day that Nile was born. And I was like, okay, I need some support now. But like that whole night was awful. Because like whenever a contraction came, I would try to like rest in between them. And then every time I remember, every time I laid down, I would get another contraction. And it's just, but like the course had prepared us for that. Like birth can take days, you know? And that's something that like the Western medical really doesn't honor, is how, that's why a lot of women end up getting C-sections, is because it's consumerized, it's capitalized, it's time-stamped, you know, it's quantified. That's not birth. Birth is very organic. It's very, if you allow it, again, it's a huge decolonizing practice, but if you allow it, it's rhythmic, it's natural. Like, I had a surfboard and I painted like Ride the Wave on there, which was something I really needed, and it was right by the hot tub. And so baby daddy filled up it's rhythmic. That's a really good way to say it. But it's not tempo, you know what I mean? It's organic. Allow it to be what it is. It doesn't even need words. It's wild. If you let it be wild and natural, it's dope as fuck. I'm really glad that was my birthing experience. I don't really feel like sharing this story, I guess. I just feel like talking about it a little bit. If you want to see the story, I shared it it's a story time on my channel, and it was, I don't know what I called it. Our birth story, probably. I also made a Mama Chronicle about it on Instagram, but that was, again, you'd have to scroll. Hang on, let me deliver this pancake to the almost birthday boy. Here you go, buddy. I'm gonna get you some strawberries, okay? And some chocolate chips too, just cause I'm okay with that. He doesn't want chocolate chip pancakes, but we'll give him chocolate chip. Anyway. So I started having my contractions the day or so before. That night was just so intense. What I had learned in the course was just to kind of trust your body and allow it to move. And I'm a very cerebral person. I spend most of my time in my head. I'm not very connected to my body. So that's another reason why this birth was so impactful for me. I mean, besides the fact that only 2% of women give birth this way. But like globally, the medical field and patriarch have really, they've taken over birth. And like I said before, if you see movies, you don't give birth on your back. That's the number one thing, is that being in that position that you always see women give birth in is really detrimental. That's why women have such complications. That's why they end up cutting people open. I gave birth on, it wasn't all fours, but it was pretty much on all fours. So I was in the bathtub. The shower was running over me. There were a couple inches of water that had already taken. But the thing that made me really get to that space, they call it the ring of fire when the head is crowning. If it's not a breech, but women can free birth breech babies as well. I'm actually watching Virgin River on Netflix right now. I know I shouldn't have downloaded Netflix. Oh my god, now I'm just stuck watching TV. But there was a breech birth. But that's how, if you watch that show, they tell her to move and get off of her back because they need gravity. I mean, it's kind of common sense, but we've been so conditioned to believe what Hollywood medical professionals. Why are gynecologists men? I've always wondered why men go into gynecology. It doesn't take a rocket science. I will never ever see a male gynecologist. No. Predator. But anyway, so I give birth like, I can't really show you. Like this, like squatting, but like I had one knee, one leg up, one knee up, and then one knee was on the bathtub, and then I don't remember what my, oh, well, I was catching him. Anyway, it was a grand entrance. It changed my life. I mean, motherhood changes everyone's life, but like I said, that my decision to birth that way, I'm grateful. Regardless of what I endured, and I mean, it wasn't like bad. I usually sit on the sidelines when I'm in group settings, so when I was in that membership group, I observed a lot. But I got what I needed, which was the course and the education to have my son. Anyway, when I did post that video, I had a couple women reach out who had seen the YouTube video. So if you are a woman who is thinking about free birth, wanting to know more, the Free Birth Society has really great resources. They have a podcast, the course, of course, but I do want to caution you, especially if you're especially if you're a person of color, that's not a space that's safe. I do have a lot of other comrades, mamas, who were in that space, and like I said, we left in waves because of the racism and the white supremacy, and also mistreatment. So if you would like any of those contacts who are people that are safe, Black folks, Indigenous women, other people of color from all over the world, let me know. I have a lot of them on Instagram still. We had started a couple different spaces, but there are some women that I can refer you to, myself included. I mean, especially for white women who are socially aware, I would feel comfortable with you as far as other folks. But yeah, let me know. I can hook you up with people who aren't white supremacists and will make you join a cult, okay? But yeah, it was a really awesome experience. I'm so grateful that it was safe and that everything is, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people probably, nobody ever says shit to my face because they know not to, but I think people probably had a lot of conceived, it's a Freudian slip. No, I'm not pregnant. Ew, never again. We'll be doing that. Anyway, what's the word I'm looking for? People probably thought that, it was stupid, reckless. It's fine. People, that's how I feel about medical aids, but I've also been tortured in the medical field, like various different times and spaces. I've been raped by medical professional, drugged, unwilling, like, against my will. I see that as more reckless than like allowing my body to just be a part of nature. Again, it's a huge decolonizing process. It's not for everybody. The same way that medicalized birth isn't for everybody. And yeah, there are extenuating circumstances, I can't say that word, that make it not a possibility for a lot of women. But luckily, we were good, and it was a great experience. Like I said, I'm never having kids again, but I'm glad I'm glad that was my only experience with birth, because I know the trauma that a lot of women go through, and then they're just like expected to get over it and go back to work. Like, it's insane. I don't agree with that. That's a societal, systemic issue. I'm not faulting women for that. But yeah, okay. Just took a turn. But that's the thing, social justice is always a part of life, no matter what. It's an important part of life, and yeah, especially when you are on a path of decolonizing and reclamation, you know, reclaiming your agency, and finding the balance for you. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. Women especially, you can email me. I highly suggest to caution you away from Free Birth Society. As the group, the membership group, you will have to sign an NDA. There's a reason for that. Take the course. The course is great. I recommend the course. I had a downloaded portion of it that I was trying to pirate, but I never got around to it. So, okay, bye.